All right, welcome to Reagan's Corner Sport Network for a showdown against the Central Satellites in Knox on the network that puts athletes first. I'm Raina Fegans along with Dusty to talk about this game today. What do you think are the keys of the game today?
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of keys to the game for the satellites. One of them is gonna be rebounds, especially offensive rebounds, because I really think that the team with the most offensive rebounds, they usually win the game because they have more second chance points than the other team. So I think rebounds is going to be a big key to this game. But I just wanted to kind of touch on the records of both of these teams. So of course, South Central having a great year. They are 14-3 and 5-0 in conference play. While Knox is actually 5-15. So I mean, if you look at the records, then it kind of looks like a mismatch, but just I think it was just last week or a couple weeks ago, they faced Knox in a tournament, and South Central barely beat them by 4 points. So I mean, this one is in Knox, and
Laporte's number one used
not
car
to
dealer, All
mention
Star Autos, is a proud sponsor of All
that
Star Sports
um,
Network. All Star Autos specializes in
well, shout
high
out to All
quality
Star
I
Autos
know,
used
All Star
first.
vehicles
Autos.
and excellent
All Star
customer
Let's
Autos.
give
service
them
that
their little
saves
time to
out of
shine.
this world.
Yep, our
They
sponsor.
pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress free as possible. You can view the inventory and apply for credit at allstarreport.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large
As
inventory
Josh
of
made a new
cars, trucks,
commercial.
and
Yeah,
SUVs.
some new
So next
graphics
time
here.
you're in the market
Yeah,
for a new
looks
vehicle,
pretty
check
good.
out All
Yeah.
Star Autos, the original no pressure dealer, and see why we're number one in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go.
Okay, not sure if it froze on your side.
Yeah,
But
it's frozen, but you can finish what you were saying.
okay, yeah, I kind of thought that I might have got disconnected again. But anyways, so as I was saying that, I mean this seems like a mismatch, 14-3 versus 5-15, but when they faced in the tournament, Knox barely won it. So this game right here, it's not only in Knox, but it's senior night for Knox. And so I really think that this is going to be a close game, if anything. And I really believe that South Central will pull it out in the end, but Knox is most likely going to keep it close.
Yeah, I agree. I think also what you were talking about earlier with the that we had with the rebounds. Rebounds is really kind of what won the game for them last time. They had about 6 more rebounds than Knox last time, and those rebounds add up. So those 4 points definitely were caused by those rebounds. And the Satellites haven't been doing that great with their threes recently. So, those rebounds are going to have to be stepped up here so that they can get their points.
Yeah, I mean, um, if you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, I think that like the team that out rebounds the other team usually is a team that's more aggressive, and so the more aggressive team usually gets the W. So South Central is gonna have to show a little bit of aggression here early in this game.
Yeah, and I think the Satellites, it's kind of up in the air how they're going to start. At the last game that we did this last week, and they had an amazing start. They got up by 10 points very, very quickly, and they continued that throughout the rest of the game. So hopefully they're going to be able to carry that energy into this game. potentially more difficult than the last. The last one was a bit easy, I would say. So hopefully they're not too out of it and they won't get shocked when they start playing Knox.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a game like you did the previous game against Hebron, one of two things can happen. So it could be, how they say, like a hangover, and they could take this team for granted, or it could be the other way, and it could actually give momentum to this satellites team, and they can, you know, do the same as they did in that last game.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one's going to lead more to the momentum side, as a positive. I think it's really easy in games like the last one to kind of let up and, get a bit lazy, but I really didn't see that from the satellites. They gave really 100% the whole time.
Good
So I
evening
think
once
they're going to
again,
be ready
ladies
for
and
this
gentlemen,
one.
and welcome to
Who do you think is going to
beautiful
win Tip?
Weinberg Gymnasium for this evening's
I
varsity girls
mean,
basketball
I want
contest
to see,
between the
who
South
has a
Central
taller
Lady
player before I
Satellites
make that decision.
Okay. That sounds good.
But as of right now, I
Without
think
further ado,
that,
the
South
IHSAA,
Central
both
win it,
South Central and Knox have made a
just
commitment
because
to
it's South
promoting
Central.
Yeah.
sportsmanship by
Wow.
student
I'm
athletes,
gonna be honest. I
coaches,
don't
and
think South Central
spectators
has
at
won
all
many tip-offs.
IHSAA events.
And
Hmm.
not that they don't really have the height,
Intimidating action
but it
directed
just
at
seems
physical
like
sport
they're not too great
competitors
at
will
tip. Not
not
that
be
it's that
tolerated,
important,
and
but
are grounds for removal from this
it
event.
does,
Thank you for being a
kind of
positive
shift the
spectator.
momentum early in the
Ladies and
game.
gentlemen, at this time, will you continue standing? And
And
gentlemen,
they're gonna do
remove
the
your
national
hats for
anthem,
the
so we'll
playing
let them
of
do
our
that.
national anthem.
All right, very special. They turn the lights off and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so it seems like a really big night here for Knox
And now
as
let's meet
they
the
face.
star
I
players
mean, you
of
could probably
tonight's
say a
game.
rival in the past
First, your
years,
visitors on the scoreboard, the
in the
South Central
satellites.
Lady Satellites.
Right, yeah, and
A senior wearing
I love
number
these
33
jerseys for the
just
satellites. It's my
below
favorite, the
them.
blackout. But anyways,
A
I
senior
I
wearing
agree.
number 40, Olivia Mars.
I think there's going to be a lot of momentum
A
shifts here.
senior wearing number 44,
And I think it's going to be a bit of
a junior wearing
I'm not sure. I
number
was going to say a bit of a
36,
faster paced game, but when I said that, I'm not
and a
quite
junior
sure
wearing
yet.
number 32, Hope
Yeah,
Morrison.
I would say
The
that
Satellite
South
coach
Central,
is
they have momentum from the last game, and they also have momentum from their record, 14-3. But on the other side, Knox has the home crowd on their side. So I mean,
And a big
this
one,
game,
too.
yeah, this game might be kind of balanced out. But I think South Central definitely has the edge.
Yeah, yeah, again, and they have that last win, so hopefully
here's the
they
starting
have enough,
lineup for
gusto to
your
want to keep that kind of,
ladies
now, Knox kind of has a grudge against them. They don't want to lose twice, especially since the last game was so close. They know that they can win. It's just the little things that they're gonna have to, pick
Yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that being such a close game the last time around, I think that Knox is gonna really want to get revenge on South Central, and like I said, they have the home crowd behind them.
Yeah, and I mean, it also depends on how Knox's last game. As you see, there's an injury there on the team. It's I do wonder how their last game was to kind of see how they're going to go into this.
Yeah, you're looking at that player, and you're wondering if she's one of the top players on this team. Because if it
Yeah.
is, that'd be huge.
Yeah, the last game there was an illness on the team. Not only does that really bring morale down, you lost your top player. There's a big potential other players on your team are going to get sick, and it's, illnesses and injuries are two things that can really wreck teams. If that happened to the Satellites, they have really 7 that they play. They don't have a lot to give, especially later on in this season. This is kind of where injuries start to happen. Does he have
Yeah.
tip off?
So
Oh, we didn't even jump for that one.
wait a second. Oh,
Oh,
so
oh. Are they letting the seniors score?
she's a senior, I'm guessing.
I don't know
Oh
what's happening
yeah,
right now. Wait, but the
yeah.
game
No,
is going
it's
on.
that.
I don't think we should.
It's that she's a senior, so they let her score, and then they have
Oh,
to let South
oh,
Central even
okay.
it
I
up.
get what happened. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of looking at it, and then I was like, wait, I was like, it's because they had to even it up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
It's
All
just like
right, as we
funny.
start out here,
Yeah, but
Knox
all
bringing it
right,
up.
overtime two
Satellites are in a
two.
2-3. Big hands. That's a big part of defense, especially in the zone. And a block. Could
Ooh,
have been a
what a
foul there, but
block
didn't
right
call it.
there.
Satellites bring the ball up.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that was Lillian Tolman, because she's been on the rebounds, and she's also been on the blocks this season.
Yeah, she really has been, and those are big. Blocks aren't really as big, but they're pretty fun. But rebounds are huge, especially offensive, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think that blocks, they'll get you momentum in a game, so they can be huge.
And yeah, you're right. And oh,
Oh
Knox
my,
shoots 3. It's good.
from deep.
uh, Definitely, and especially morale on the person that got blocked. They're less likely to shoot after that point.
Yeah, and so Knox, they're already starting out hot, so South Central has to really get a stop here.
Yeah, the defense is looking really nice. They're just able to get some shots off. That was a really deep 3 that they made. And the Satellites defense, again, amazing here. Really no open shots. You see that just collapse right on once they get down to that corner for a trap. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think after that 3, they kind of. Ooh, I mean, as I say that,
That's a
this.
tough shot though. The defense is very solid.
Yeah, I mean, just great drive, great basket, and it's already 7-2.
Yeah, I mean, not the start you want, but that is, 2 possessions. And as we get a layup here,
Well, nice answer there
Tolman.
for the Satellites. Yeah,
Yes, and
that's
they're
Tolman.
going in their press again. We saw this in their last game. The press kind of destroyed that last team. They do that diamond press very well, as you've seen here, forcing a lot of turnovers. They got 2 10-second calls in the last game.
They're gonna call timeout.
They call a timeout before that. That would have been a 10-second call. They called that timeout, but that
Yeah,
press that the Satellites have done has really grown on me. I remember doing that. Oh, let me add
yeah.
that go.
All shout out to All Star Autos again.
I'll start with.
Yeah, but just
Ooh.
really quick, I think that's huge for the Satellites to cause them to call a timeout.
Yeah, already.
This early.
I mean, he's probably drawing up the play to break that press. A press is generally pretty easy to break if you have solid passes, but the Satellites are pretty good at figuring out where you're going to passing it and getting on the passing lane. So we'll see if they're able to break it here.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
they
like
have
that little. Yeah, I like that little split screen action we just had there.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
That
Yeah.
was actually a nice addition.
Yeah. All right, we have the press. Yeah, Drew. Yeah, you kind of have to dribble through it and try not to get trapped. For
Yeah,
three,
another three up, and that one not able to go though.
not quite. And it's tipped out by the Satellites, and Knox gets it back. Yeah, not a strong start for the Satellites. I think it's about 50-50 on whether or not they have a strong start. So hopefully they'll be able to gain some more points back. As Knox has the ball passing around perimeter. Satellites in their 2-3 still. Able to stop that drive there, pretty big. Another drive, able to stop.
Ooh, and they got a
Out of
steal.
bounds.
I think it might have been,
Possible
I stepped out of
injury.
bounds right before that steal.
Sadie Marks looks a little hurt there, but she's still in it. The Satellites get the ball. Bring it up. They're also doing a 2-3. Shoots a three. No one there. Didn't get the rebound,
There
but
you
gets
go.
the ball
See,
back anyways, and it gets fouled.
and as I said at the beginning of this game, offensive rebounds are going to be huge, and that was a big one there.
Yeah, we have Lillian Tolman on the line. Yeah, it wasn't quite a rebound, but she still ended up with the ball and a foul, so I'll take it. Only saw two of the Satellites players down there for the rebound, and she makes the first one. You kind of need everyone down there. It's a full effort. Really, your odds are a lot better the more people we have down there, obviously.
And you see the free throw, she kind of adjusts her hand. I mean, it worked on the first one, but not on the second one. It's just different.
Yeah, that press is working very well. It puts a lot of pressure. It's just, that's the thing, is so many people are so high up. You need to have a great person in help that can crash to prevent those block shots or layups. And the Satellites turn it over.
And Satellites maybe just going a little bit too fast here early.
I agree. I think it's a little too fast. Slow it down a little bit. Defense looking good. It was a little spotty there, though. They did have a few open shots. And a nice pass down the baseline for a three. And she makes it.
Man, and just great passing right there, is able to get the open shot.
Yeah, great passing. Another great finish by Sadie Marks. Still have that press. Able to break it, but they're back set on defense. Almost couldn't get out of that corner. But she shoots for three. Not quite.
Oh,
They get the rebound. Well, this is very fast paced. And she makes it. Oh my gosh, what a shot there. Great shot. Their threes are on tonight and they needed it.
Yeah. I mean, you take a punch there from Knox and then you just answer right back with your own jab, and you go up 11-7 after being down 7-2?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great comeback. Again, I thought that the momentum was going to shift a lot during this. It looks like it might. Those quick passes.
Yeah, very quick passes. As a 9-0 run here.
Ooh,
oh my goodness, another one.
Three.
Holy.
But that's the thing on defense. If you fall down, you got to get back up as fast as possible if you are not injured. And that's why you do that there. Like, she got a wide open three because she was slow to get up after taking a fall.
Yeah, and Knox had a 5-point lead, but it's just been a 12-0 run here for the Satellites. They go the other way, and
not quite. Trying to look for the foul there, didn't get it.
Yeah, maybe a jump stop right there. I think
that's the thing. I don't like when players do that because they see the player next to them and they think that they're just gonna automatically get the foul call, and so they're not really focused on their layup. But as you see there, you're not always gonna get the call, so you should treat every layup as if you're gonna make it.
Yeah, and I mean, coaches always say it. Usually, the jump stop, it usually works, but most players, they just don't do it.
Yeah, they often run through it, which works in a lot of cases, but I think you're totally right there. A jump stop would have been best. And a rough game here so far for Sadie Marks on the ground twice. She does have a 3-point. as Knox
Yeah,
brings it up.
it looks like Sadie Marks. He might have been injured earlier, but maybe
I,
toughing out,
I
whatever.
I think it might have been like a jammed finger or something. She was holding her
Yeah,
hand, and those
some
hurt. Don't get me wrong, but you can definitely play through it. So I'm not
yeah,
too worried.
exactly something simple. So she's good.
Ooh,
Oh
banks
my,
a
that one
three.
goes off the backboard.
Knox
What?
now up to 10.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they called glass on that one.
I don't think I
Yeah,
didn't hear it
I don't
either. So
I don't think it should count.
oh, a call that one of the Knox girls did not like. That seems to be a
Ooh.
trouble spot for the satellites. Really, that sideline by the bench. They've thrown it out there quite a few times, just in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, they turn it over a couple times and almost
Oh,
turn it over again. Ooh, and
a turn and
yeah,
travel.
that's gonna be a
Not
trouble.
what you want to see in the first quarter. That's kind of a
Definitely not.
fourth quarter thing to do. As they keep their press. Ooh, almost an over and back, but she just got over that line.
Yeah, so Knox keeping it close here early as they were down by 7.
Yeah, those 3 points really catch up to you, as we saw at the satellites and now here with Knox. They're really sneaky. They can get you back into the game really, really quick. 2, 3, 6 points, right back in it. As we shoot a long 2,
Ooh.
airballed, but we get the rebound. Passes it back out. Another 3. Ooh,
Ooh.
Sadie marks another 3.
Seeing that offensive rebound proved to be huge. Able to knock down a 3 from it.
Exactly, and you're thinking the other team, you're gonna have to start finding some people to lock down. Maybe even switch to man, because Sadie Marks is wide open for a long time to get these nice threes. But they're keeping the satellites way in the lead.
Yeah, I think it's really good offense here
Oh,
for the satellites.
who is that?
And
Tolman?
it might have been Tolman, but another 3 goes down.
These are beautiful threes. They look amazing. Their form looks great. They're balanced. And a steal.
Yeah,
The
and those
satellites go
threes
for
are
a layup.
not just forced up.
Yeah, they look solid. These are solid shots that they're taking. They're making them now. I think it's a great time for them to be peaking right now as Olivia Marks subbed into the game as they do one of their inbound plays. Almost lost it, but gets it back. They bring it back to the top of the key. And a long 2. Not close. Oh, okay. The time is
Oh,
going out.
at the
Okay, okay.
buzzer. Yeah.
solid first quarter for the Satellites. Started out a little rough, but they came right back.
Yeah, definitely solid for the satellites. I mean, another shout out to All Star Autos, but yeah, I think they were doing a really good job of looking for their shot. They weren't really just forcing shots up; they were getting the open shot and they were knocking it down.
Yeah, and as we were talking about at the beginning, pace was just a little too chaotic for the Satellites at the beginning. They were able to take control of the game, and they've maintained it since then. Looking a
Yeah,
lot more confident. I'm sure that's why those threes are looking so great.
yeah, and I think once they slowed it down, they started knocking down shots. They started playing really good defense, and after one, they found themselves up 20-10.
Yeah, I mean, at the way beginning, their defense was locked down, and I think that was a bit too much too soon. It was amazing defense, but that's really hard to maintain for a whole game with only 7 players. So they've toned it down a little bit, but it's still causing them to have Knox to take these tough shots or almost no shot at all.
Yeah, I mean the aggression is still there, but just not so much to tire yourself out.
Right? Yeah, it's more
So
controlled.
yeah, more controlled. So they're doing a good job on defense and offense.
They throw it away, but they get it right back. Those great passes. I love that pass. Those over the head, quick passes, confusing the defense, really gets them out of formation.
Yeah, usually the passes cross court are usually the best ones because they don't
Ooh,
expect it. Ooh, that was a
a little
nice,
reverse there.
yeah, nice reverse layup there for the satellites.
I believe that was Sadie again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
I
think,
love those jerseys, but it's almost impossible to read the numbers.
yeah, exactly. But I think that once the satellites, just calm their nerves, they're playing really good basketball now.
Yeah, you can just tell in their body language. It just changes once they're into the game and locked in. You can just see the focus on their faces. They have great athletic stance. They're in the passing lanes again. As you see there, they knocked it out of bounds. And their defense is, again, solid, staying in the 2-3.
Yeah, I think the defense really forcing forcing Knox to get a better shot, but as soon as they pass it, they're just on it.
They are,
Like,
yeah. I think
yeah.
it's easy on a zone to kind of get, ooh,
Mm.
a deep
Wow, a little
three.
Steph Curry
That
range.
that's hard to guard.
Yeah,
That's a hard
definitely.
one.
It's like, okay. I mean, you just gotta let them have that. You know what I mean? You
I mean,
can't
yeah,
really
there's
get up that far.
especially in a zone, going out that far is really risky. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
really good
and,
shot there.
yeah, and it's like a low percentage shot, so you let them have it, and if it goes
Exactly.
down, it goes down.
There's that rebound we're looking for, but doesn't quite get it in from Samantha Marks. Those are layups you kind of regret missing towards the end of the game when it's really close, but hopefully she can lock in here soon.
Or they're gonna call that off the satellites.
Yes, they do.
Oh, that
And we
was a
have
tough.
Tolman back in the game.
Yeah, that was a tough call right there. I mean, maybe
I've seen
home
a
court advantage.
few rough calls both on Knox and the satellites just with out of bounds things. I think they're just both great defensive teams that their hands are all over it. It's hard to tell whose it's really
Yeah,
off of.
but nevertheless, satellites they get it back up 9.
There, yep, that pass, that's out.
Ooh.
Not quite, but we get the layup. That pass is tough on the defense too. It's a solid over the head pass with speed and right on target.
Yeah, because it's really hard to get to that player. After being almost to the middle of the court.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
you have to have a extremely solid closeout because if it's not looking good, the satellites can drive too.
top of the
Ooh,
key. Ooh,
the little chant
another
there.
offensive
But we get
rebound.
Samantha Marks with another rebound and makes it. You got
Yeah,
the
so
air
there's
ball chant there. That's tough, but
yeah, so there's been a couple missed threes, but off of those missed threes, there's been a lot of offensive rebounds here early for the satellites.
yeah, and out of a lot of those
Reports
threes, their
number
3-point
one
percentage is
used
still
car dealer,
pretty
all
high.
Carrasco,
They had knocked
Carrasco,
down what
Park
4 in a
Sports
row.
Network. Officer
Yeah,
Irish
and
Racing,
I mean they weren't just
vehicles,
like off of the rim or off of the backboard. They were swishes. So I mean
you find
they're really locked in right now, and you can tell.
as
Yeah,
easy
and I
and
mean
stress-free
the
as
confidence to
possible.
take those threes
You, the
it
insurance,
means
and
everything.
apply for credit
So
at
you're gonna have to deal with missing a few.
allstarreport.com. They offer financial for
Yeah, so I kind of feel like from that last game, they really brought that confidence into this game because yeah, they're really hitting their shots.
Yeah, in the last game they did a lot of driving and some fast break stuff. They're not getting that with this team. So they're going to the 3 points and it's working. And it's nice to see that the satellites really have two games that they can play. They can play the more slow, fast passing around the perimeter to get a three, and they can play fast break layups the whole game. So it's tough to beat that when they can do both very well. The satellites are back in their press. Yep, and there it
Ooh,
is.
yeah,
Knox
and
throws it out.
that's just the result of this pressure by the satellites. They can really force a lot of turnovers with that press.
Right, yeah. Or, just putting that pressure on him the whole time. It's hard to get into your offense after just barely breaking a press. As a satellite shoot for two and make it. and Knox is bringing it back up.
Yeah, and I mean the satellites are up by 15 right now, and I mean they don't have any signs of slowing down anytime soon.
They do not, and as you see, Tolman at the top of that press, great form, arms up, low stance, as you see there too. It's well coached players
Yeah,
performing at their peak at the right time.
yeah, exactly. I think from that last game, I think they really learned a lot about Knox, and I think doing their homework it really helped them, here in this game today. Because I mean, up 17 in the second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Yeah, the satellites just have such great basketball IQ that I think you're totally right. They learned from that last game. They knew that they shouldn't have been that close, and now they're here to prove that they are at the top of
Yeah,
their conference.
exactly. They are what their record is. 14-3, 5-0 in conference play. I mean, that really says something as a squad.
Yeah, it does, and I think their only losses were against really good teams, and they barely lost. So it's gonna be exciting for the championship that they have coming up. And two, we have a satellite at the line. She misses the second, but they get the rebound. Oh, Samantha Marks at the line. Bring it up to the top of the key. Passing it around, looking for an open shot.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't even really realize it, but the season is almost over.
I know,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of crazy, but South Central has a lot to show from it.
Yeah, they do. And so a call there. Crowd was upset they should have got a travel call a little earlier, and the press
Oh,
does it again. Oh, but a big
oh, but a
block.
block. Yeah, huge block.
As you look at that, like staying on the ball, they're great at just maintaining a close distance without fouling. As the Nuts shoot it, they miss, but get the rebound. On the floor, jump ball called.
Yeah, fight for the ball. I was wondering if they're gonna call a jump ball or
I know, I was waiting. I was like, are you going to do it?
yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna let it go, let it play out.
Yeah. It's Knox ball. They're taking it out. Big student section there. Looks like it's Jersey Day.
Yeah,
Oh, they get a wide open three. Goes right in. Again, like I said, threes bring a lot of momentum. So if the Satellites can't respond, I would expect Knox to go on a little run here.
yeah. I
Satellites
mean,
slowing it down.
South Central, they really got to keep their foot on the gas because this league can evaporate quickly. But a nice shot there for South
Yeah,
Central.
great take. Reading the defense very well. Just slipping right through to get a nice little floater.
And South Central is doubling up the Knox Redskins right now, 32-16.
Yeah, and they're looking great. Their offense is looking strong. They can run plays, but they also know when to take it to the basket. As Satellites pass around the perimeter. And the three. And that's in. That's good. Another
Yeah,
beautiful three.
yeah, definitely. But approaching 2 minutes left here in the first half, that three was huge because now they're almost up 20, and they're gonna have some momentum going into the half.
Exactly, yeah. And that kind of ruined what momentum Knox did have previously. As they get it down low and they make a layup, the Satellites bring it back up, looking to respond. The Satellites aren't really a dribbling team either, which I really appreciate. A long two, it's good. They're a passing team, which is also why it's so hard to guard them. It's relatively easier to guard a person dribbling than passing. So the fact that the Satellites have such good team chemistry. Ooh, big three by Knox.
Yeah, huge three there. As I think Knox is really knocking down their shots, but they're not really getting stops on this other end.
It's true, and it's a bit. No, I wouldn't say too late, but it is. They have a big lead to catch up to. 37-21.
Yeah, and with under a minute left to go, this might be an opening here for Knox.
Yeah, it is. It's crunch time. You want to go into this halftime looking optimistic, even if maybe you aren't in the lead. Oh, taking it. Ooh. Oh,
Ooh,
how unfortunate. Takes it the whole way. Just can't quite make the layup.
yeah, unable to finish, but a great drive there.
And a three. Not quite. We get the rebound. A long two. And that's in.
Yeah, that's nothing but net there.
Yeah, and again, the rebounds really keeping this lead high.
Yeah, I think there's a huge emphasis on rebounds for this game because I mean we talked about it, at the beginning of this game, and South Central is really I feel like they're thriving off of those rebounds here in the first half.
They are, and look at those passes are great. They're getting wide open players. Oh,
She try to sell the foul.
yeah. Tolman said no, no buzzer beater tonight.
No, not today.
The
All right,
Port's
we'll let
number one
All-Star
used
Auto
car
play.
dealer. All-Star Autos is a proud sponsor of Reading Sports Network. All-Star Autos specializes in high quality.
Yeah, a huge thank you to All Star Autos for being our sponsor.
Say it's out of this world. They pride themselves on making your car experience as easy and stress-free as possible. And view their inventory and apply for credit at allstarreport.com. They offer financial for everyone, have a large inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. So next time you're in the market for a new vehicle, check out All Star Autos, the regional no pressure dealer, and see why we're number one in used car dealers in LaPorte. And go.
All right. I think Satellites had an extremely solid first half, coming out of a little bit of a lull at the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, from that point on, I feel like they played almost a perfect half. I think that just their missed shots from three, that could have been a thing that, could have made it a perfect half. But I mean, other than that, they've been playing really, really well.
Yeah, they look extremely confident. They know where they need to be on the court. No one looks lost. Uh, the plays look solid, especially on offense. This is what you want to see as a coach. Everything kind of falling together in the last few games before your big tournament and the end of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of felt that Knox had the momentum, coming into this game just because it's senior night, just because they got home court advantage. But South Central has really shown that, they're not a team to mess with, and that they are the team that is 14-3 this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of those losses coming early in the season, their first game, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that very first game, I think it maybe sparked this team to turn into the team they are, today. Because I mean, that was just really a heartbreaker in that first game.
It was, yeah. They were up by like 16, right?
Yeah, yeah, about 16 points they were up, and in the second half they just kind of let it go. But from that point on, they've really stepped it up and They've been going on some winning streaks this season.
Yeah, and not only winning streaks, but solid wins. Blowing teams out and being right there next to the people who are of higher competition. And they've looked solid. They look confident.
The port's #1 used car dealer.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean, just as you said, blowing teams out, but the really good teams that they've played, I mean, they've uh, they've beat them, maybe just barely, but they've beat them.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, it's one extra point is all you need.
Yeah, I feel like if they're a better team than you, then you know that game is gonna be close. But if you can pull out the win, then that just shows how solid of a team that you are.
Yeah, I think that's what the satellites is really the key to their success is they work as a team. Yeah, as I said before, they pass well and they pass often. They really share the points. They know when to give it to someone when they're on. They take good shots, and if they don't, in general, they have solid rebounds that they know that they could take one or two more chances to score in that possession.
Yeah, you think of a team like the Golden State Warriors and what they do and how they have their success, and it's really passing the ball around, It's not just dribbling. I mean, I don't really want to make a comparison to that, but if I would, it'd be like, James Harden, how he just dribbles and dribbles and
Mhm.
dribbles. The Golden State Warriors, they pass it around and they do it well. And this South Central team, you see kind of the same in them.
Right, yeah, like it's a hard habit to break to over dribble. It's a super common mistake, especially in high school level. And that's where a lot of people get a lot of the steals. The other game this weekend, I believe, ooh, I cannot remember who it was. Maybe Tolman? She was at the top guarding the point guard. She got 3 steals in a row just because the point guard was dribbling too much and she was able to get her hands in there and get a steal for a wide open layup. And that other teams don't get that chance with the satellites because they are a passing team. And you're much, much faster when you're passing rather than dribbling, which is allows them to bring up their tempo, but not really have them use as much energy as you would think.
Yeah, and I mean, you can understand why those players, dribble a lot. It's really because, they want to make a play for their team, but I think doing too much can really hurt you rather than help you.
Right, yeah, and I think also the coach obviously has plays meant for this team, which gives them, they can do that over the head pass that skips over, maybe 1 to 2 passing lanes for a wide open three or a wide open, block shot. And those are hard to kind of, how do you say, kind of interpret for the defense to think that they're going to pass there. Now, normal teams normally don't pass that far. So it's another thing teams have to get used to playing against the satellites that they wouldn't for other teams.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the players on this team and you think, all right, it's some pretty good players on this team, but you got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff because, um, like you said, they drop those plays to pass it from one side to the other, and that keeps a defense really off balance, and that is a huge contribution to winning a ball game.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach playing against the satellites, it's hard to choose which defense to use. When you use man and you don't have strong help, then the satellites will just drive. They know when to drive. They know how to do it well. They know how to draw fouls, as we saw in the last game. They drew a lot of fouls fairly easily. And if you do a zone, they do that skip pass, and your zone needs to stay solid. You have to stay disciplined. That far person can't go much farther than halfway through the lane.
Yeah, and I think what this offense of the satellites will really do to a team is it'll make the other team, change their defense. And when you're changing your defense, it kind of shows how good that offense really is.
I think that also another defining factor of the Satellites' defense is their hands. Something I yell at my athletes all the time for this is to just keep your hands up when you're playing defense, either out to your sides or up in the air. That makes the court look so much smaller to the offense, and they're either not going to think the pass is there, or they're going to get the pass in your hands there, and you're going to get a deflection and possibly a steal. The Satellites do that so well. They know where to put their hands. They know how to keep them up without reaching too. They rarely ever get reaching fouls, which is another hole that a lot of basketball players fall into at this level.
Yeah, I mean, playing on varsity, in high school, my coach, that was one of the things that he emphasized was that, keep your hands up because it's gonna, cause more deflections. It's gonna do more to that offense, if you have your hands up and pretty much ready to go.
Exactly, yeah. On defense, your number one job is to interfere with the offense, and keeping your hands up does that while you're just standing there most of the time. And the Satellites are bringing it up to start the second half. And Knots are in a one. What does that look like? One,
It
two,
looks like a
two.
one, yeah, 1-2-2 maybe.
Yeah. Left up right in the middle. Can't quite make it, and the Knots get the rebound. And the Satellites are now in man. You can see them tracking him down. Arms up high, not reaching. And they get the ball back. As again,
Yeah,
when you
and
switch up your defense too, it's hard to relearn how to do your offense again now that you're playing man. You probably were thinking, oh, it's going to be a 2-3.
yeah, and I mean with that still, it looks like it was a great decision here for the satellites to come out in a man defense here in the second half.
Yeah, again, that's just good coaching too. They know when to switch things up to kind of confuse or, get some practice too. Maybe they want to practice their man. They're up by a lot. They can practice that now.
Yeah, 18-point lead. I mean they really have the momentum and they have that three.
Big three. That play, every time they run it, they're gonna pop that three in the corner, and your defense has to know that they have to close out quickly, and they just
Yeah,
can't quite
and
get there.
they go up by 21. Um, I mean, it just feels like South Central has all the momentum in this game, and Knox might be really depleted.
Yeah, and honestly, with this view that we have now, we can kind of see in more detail what they're doing. The Satellites are sturdy. Like I've seen that they get bumped into all the time. They barely move, while the other teams are kind of flopping all over the place. As we get a nice little 2-pointer there, that's also a big deal. It's easy to kind of flop, and to let that affect how you're playing and really, get into your head about that. The Satellites seem like they do not care if they get bumped into.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe the satellites hit the gym more or something, like
Oh, definitely. Their
because
endurance is
yeah,
crazy.
exactly because getting in the weight room, it could be a huge advantage for a team.
It is. It really is. And as long as you're weight trained properly, especially for young women, it's going to totally increase the potential of your career. Starting
Yeah,
out early and learning the dedication it takes to be in the weight room.
yeah, exactly.
Just
Dedication, and it really just kind of gives you an advantage on their team because you're gonna have a little more strength than them.
right, and there is a little too close. Tolman drawing a foul there. And that's the thing. They're going into man now. They're not man a lot. Uh, and that's gonna
Yeah, but
happen. You get a little too close sometimes.
exactly. But it really seems like it's working as Knox just can't get anything going on the offensive end.
Yeah, you see there, she got that reaching foul. She just got fouled right there too. So she made up for her mistake, and it's all balanced out now.
Yeah, and I mean, as a player, that's what most players really do. You know, if they make a mistake, I mean, at least the good players, they go and make up for it.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, basketball's a game of mistakes. You're gonna mess up a lot. The difference between a great and a good player is whether or not you can respond to that.
Yeah, because you see, some players they'll pout about it, and they won't maybe get on the defensive end. They'll stand on the other end. But there's other players that they're like, all right, I'm gonna get the next one.
Yeah, exactly. I think all the satellites have that mentality too. You don't see them complain about ref calls. You really never see them complain unless it's something very blatant. Yeah, that's just a solid player. They're locked in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't really seen the satellites, really complain about much.
And a
Um,
big three there too.
yeah, huge three is. I mean, they're just oof. I don't know. They have all the momentum in this one.
And they're pressing again. A man press
Yeah,
there. And they get the ball right back. There's that pressure. Ooh,
yeah.
missed the
Oh, and
layup.
not able to get it
That's
to
always tough.
go.
That's always tough when you miss the layups there.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
and she fouls.
and then a foul. Oof.
Second foul in about a minute. Looks like she's going to be subbed out.
Double whammy.
Yeah, Sadie Marks seems like she's going in. That happens. I mean, it's okay. This
Yeah.
game, it's okay for that to happen in.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to the first game, you know how they had that huge lead and they kind of let it go. I feel like in this game, they really showed that they've learned from that, and they're just piling it on.
They are, yeah. And this is kind of what I saw in the game they played this weekend. Is they were up by a lot, but they're still giving it their all, which I think is extremely respectful to the people they're playing against, obviously. And they need to be getting as much time as they can, especially the seniors. You never know when's your last game. So they're going to give it their all the whole time they're on the court. They missed a three there, and not to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, some of these games they mean that much more for the seniors because yeah, they don't have much games left, in their career, here in high school.
Hmm.
And so I think yeah, they mean a little bit more.
Exactly. And, for the underclassmen, they're going to want to play well for their seniors. That was definitely something that was in my head all the time as an underclassman, is that you don't want to be the reason why, your senior has a bad game or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And misses the first free throw, knocks on the line for two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they had 23 at the start of this quarter, but I kind of feel like they did. Mm,
I think it was closer to I think it was 20.
yes,
They've
I mean
scored a
something
little
like
bit.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
either way, it's just been a dominant quarter here for the Satellites as approaching the 50 mark while your opponent's still, at 23.
Misses the free throw, but they get back up and misses again. But Satellites get the ball, working on bringing it up. And the Satellites play aggressive, but they keep it safe. I've never felt like they've been out of control and they're going to hurt the other team, anything like that. They're really good about their fouls, good about their hands. They're disciplined. We see them dribbling in, couldn't make the pass, and turns it over to Knox. They bring it up, still pressing. Oh, just barely got it over that line. It's knocked out by the Satellites. So bring it in on the
Yeah,
sideline.
And I mean, Knox, they just look a little demoralized. I mean, it's just
A bit
like,
irritated, yeah.
yeah, they don't have as much energy as they did, in the first half because that play right there, she just kind of threw it and then they just like knocked it out, and I don't know, you just kind of see that they don't have as much energy anymore.
Right, yeah, and you see there is a spout of energy, but it doesn't seem like the whole team is really in it, and that's hard to do. Like when you're a player, you know you're losing by a lot, you know you're probably not going to win, but you're still giving it your all, and you see your teammates not really trying. That's a bit of a slap in the face, I'd say, as a teammate. Oh, and another three slips in
Another
there.
one. Oh my.
Still pressing.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking back to it, I think that the half score, it might have been 42-23. So I think that
Oh, really?
Knox hasn't scored a single point here in the third quarter.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, and that's huge because I mean, the satellites, they haven't really, let up on the pressure. They've, applied more pressure here in the second half.
yeah, that's true. Holding a team to no points is hard to do, especially when they have had shots. The satellites have picked up their rebounds.
Yeah, and I mean, with under 2 minutes left to go in this third quarter, they might just get a shutout. Did I jinx it?
Don't jinx it. Get that fast pace, a great move down low to get the floater. Still pressing. Solid press.
Yeah, it might be the announcer's jinx, but I mean, I really believe in this satellites team. I think that,
They've proven themselves. You have a reason to believe in them, but
yeah, I think they could get a shutout quarter with about a minute to go.
just off the back of the rim. Satellites get the rebound, bringing it back up.
Yeah, and I mean, being up 31 points, some teams will just kind of let off the gas, just waste time. But this satellites team, I think they really want to keep
Ugh.
the, yeah, exactly. As I was saying, they just want to keep going.
I know. If you're another team looking at the satellites right now, the one thing you're probably learning is to never give them a wide open three. Their threes
Yeah.
percentage for this game is crazy high. They're solid threes, like we were saying before. They're not banking it. It's not jumping on the rim and going in. They're swishes with solid form and amazing balance.
Yeah, I mean, you
Oh,
see, it's great
wow.
offense, but I mean, on the other end, their defense is just sensational.
It is, and it almost looks like they're being lazy on their defense, but it's they're in the right spots they need to be. They're not running around trying to figure out who to defend. Oh, a block. Always tough to get blocked. I think you're right. Shutout quarter. A great quarter for the satellites. Really showing that they're able to maintain high pressure a whole game. So we have the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are always so great at the high schools. And I think what we're going to look for in this fourth quarter, they're probably going to bring it out a little bit, um, force them to come out and meet them on offense. Pass it out of perimeter. Probably going to have the people that don't get as much playing time going in. And I'm excited to see how they come out in this fourth quarter to see if they keep the pressure up, they drop back a little bit. 57, a high scoring game for the satellites. And Dusty's back.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi unfortunately disconnected again. But
Hey,
yeah,
it
we're
lasted a
back.
while though.
Yeah. So that's gonna be the end of the third quarter, and I mean, a 34-point lead. I think the satellites have really shown that they are, their record 14-3, 5-0 in conference play. I think they really, proved something here today.
Yeah, and I'm really waiting to see if they're gonna keep going full out or they're gonna pull it back on offense, kind of just pass it around, waste some time. But they might also want to run up their score. 57 points in only 3 quarters. That's very good for the Satellites. I think their average is about 50, 53 per game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the satellites are going to try to hit the 70 mark here in the fourth quarter. I
70.
mean,
Yeah, they
yeah, I
could
mean,
definitely do that.
yeah, why stop? I think this game, is gonna, just like last game, it's gonna have momentum going into your next game. So you kind of want to put up as much points as you can, so you can feel really good going into that next game.
Yeah, and oh, what's happening here? They coming up for a press? Oh, it's Knox ball. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised Knox haven't pressed. Maybe they just haven't practiced that. Uh, I don't think the Satellites have been pressed that often. I can really only think of one time that the girls have been pressed, and their passing is great. So I think that they broke it pretty quick. That's the thing on presses. You normally break it with passing, and if you don't have strong passers, it's just you're really not going to get through it. Just dribbling, you kind of get lucky every now and again getting through that.
Yeah, and I mean, on senior night for this Knox Redskins team, I think that the seniors are just trying to, just kind of soak up this time because not like we said before, not very many games left in the season. So I mean, you just kind of got to cherish the time that you have left with your teammates.
Exactly, and the thing about the Satellites, I don't see them have much fun. It's probably because they're so disciplined, so locked in. They're in there to play. But
Yeah, I
normally
mean,
now you would kind of see teams messing around a little bit. Just in general looking more jovial, like you would say.
yeah,
But they're very serious. They still are in it. They're still playing,
yeah. I
but still
mean,
taking those shots.
exactly. Like, with this huge lead, it most teams they'll just start jacking up threes. Just you know, like okay, we already won this. It's like we don't really need to play discipline no more. But no, not the satellites. The satellites. Uh, it goes back to the coaching. Just really good coaching leading to really good play here for the satellites.
Ooh, in and out for Knox. Satellites bring it back up. Ooh, I thought she was gonna shoot it.
Mhm.
Oh, not quite, just off the rim. Hope Welsh decided to shoot it though. Not quite.
Yeah, and I mean the game's not over yet, but I think uh, the biggest part of this game for the satellites, I think, has been that shutout quarter. They're in the third, not allowing a single point, because that's really hard to do.
It is. It is, especially when you're not necessarily trying to do that, right? You don't want them to score, but you're not necessarily trying to shut them out. But that's just their defense is strong. It's hard to beat, especially when Knox is lower energy right now. You can't, like we were talking before, a bit taken out of the game, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like the other feats, that let's say NBA players have, they don't really focus on, getting that feat, but once they, get it at the end of the game, they're like, wow, like, dang, we kind of shut them out there in the third
Right,
quarter,
yeah, and you get to celebrate with you, and your coach is ecstatic. That's every coach's dream. No
Yeah.
points in a whole quarter. That's amazing.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that really shows how good this defense actually is, and going into postseason play,
oh,
Oh my, is
Almost
almost.
fell over.
Yeah, that was really close.
But she's an athlete. She brought it back.
Yeah, good balance there. Actually, great balance there.
Yeah, I would have fell over.
Same.
All right, and we have Gwen Medenhall into the game here. That's very exciting. Haven't seen her much.
Yeah, and I mean at this point of the game, you can kind of get in. I mean, there's only 7 players on this team, but you can get in the rest the other 2 players because
I think there's a solid 7, but I think there's more people on the team,
yeah,
but they just
honestly, I
aren't
think
just varsity players.
yeah, I think it was like 7 at the beginning of the season, but some of the JV players, they
Yeah, they
played so
swing.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they made their way on to this varsity team.
Oh yeah. I remember that in high school. I would go from JV to varsity. It's tough because right, you only have 5 quarters every matchup, but it's really fun when you finally get to go onto the court as a varsity player and get to play with the starters. It's a really different game. So it's nice that Gwen gets to get some of that
Yeah,
experience because she's gonna
yeah,
have to.
definitely.
She's in ninth grade. She's the young ones. They've got to get experience somehow.
Yeah, they've got their whole high school career ahead of them. But I mean, at this point, you're like, I've worked so hard to get in this position, so getting that play time, it really helps them, with their future.
Exactly. Yeah. And makes the second one. Knox is bringing it up. Yeah, I mean, they kind of have a 50-50 young and old team with 4. Ooh, foul there. Um, with 4 freshmen, 2 juniors, 3 seniors. Seniors are going to be a big loss for the team, but they have great coaching. I have big hopes for next year, too. But the seniors that we do have been pivotal in almost every game. And that's really all you can hope for as a coach is to get seniors that are leaders and can finish out games. It can remain disciplined as the younger people can look up to them and see what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, these freshmen, they're gonna be the ones filling in for the seniors as the seniors leave, and so them getting this play time here late, I think it's really gonna help them, for not only this year but for next year.
Yeah, and we have a jump ball there. Satellites, you get to take it out this time. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of new people in. Exciting to see how the younger athletes are going to play here.
And
Ooh,
another
and a
3 up
3
for the
right off
satellites.
the bat.
Yeah, and down.
It's just their release is so quick. They catch the ball, they see they're open, they shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it. That confidence for the satellites, that's really huge. Especially in a win like this.
Yeah, I would love to see the stats after this game of what percentage of 3 points they made. Because I'm sure it's definitely helped their record for the year.
Yeah, I mean,
They
yeah, you're not gonna make all of them, but you're gonna make the ones that you shoot. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
it's like their percentage. It's gonna be really high after this game.
I think I just saw Addison Bruce get subbed in. Number 23. Only 5'4",
Yeah,
which is
before
tough in
this
basketball.
game,
That's tough.
yeah, before this game, I saw her on the roster. I hadn't seen that name before,
hmm
but so it's just good to see that she's getting a little bit of play time here today.
Yeah, I guess maybe the coach knew more about this game than we did because I was expecting it to be a lot closer, and clearly he wasn't.
Yeah, he brought all these other players along for the ride.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's better that he was prepared to, because it always sucks, when you get an opportunity like this and you didn't travel with your full team, and it's just your seniors playing.
Yeah, and I didn't really see it that well, but it looked like maybe a senior or two might have got subbed out, and because there was a
Yeah,
hug there for Knox,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
think
yeah. I saw that. I think it's almost completely subbed out here
yeah,
between teams. That's
and I
normal.
mean
Last like 3-ish minutes of the fourth quarter. Yeah. Ooh, a three. Not quite. She's fouled. Oh, the ref is yelling at the student section.
yeah, and I mean the student section is like give them props because they're still
They're
standing,
here. They're standing
they're
up.
still yeah,
Yeah.
they're not sitting down.
I don't understand why student sections do that. I want to sit down. I don't want to
Yeah,
stand for an
at this
hour.
exactly at this point, I would have definitely sat down and just I wouldn't have left, but but I would have at least sat down.
Hang on, Knox gets a coast to coast layup, and Silence are bringing it back up.
Yeah, and it just seems like most of this game, the satellites have just been doubling up the Redskins. As it's
Ooh,
64-32.
yeah, definitely. Sorry, that was a good pass. Didn't quite make it though. And Knox got the ball.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi kind of paused, so I didn't,
Oh, you didn't get to
I
see it.
wasn't
Dang,
able to
and a
see it.
travel call on Knox.
So
And it looks like Marks is gonna sub in here for. I think that was Hope.
and so with about a minute to go here, it's just a really great performance here for the satellites. I think that not only on the offensive end, all the threes they've knocked down, but on the defensive end, they've just been suffocating this Knox team.
Yeah, that's a great word for it. Suffocating. They are, especially with that press. You do not get a break when you're on offense. I think a lot of the times they use that time to dribble the ball up to half court as to recollect themselves and to figure out what play they want to run to get everyone set up. And when you can barely get the ball over half court, you know, figuring out which offense you want to run is kind of secondary, and then you end up getting bad shots. Oh, I don't know if they want to shoot it or not, but that was a good shot to shoot. Well, yeah, she should just not it there. Should turn around, pop that, but that's okay. It happens.
Yeah, and I think that was another big part of this win here today was the press. Because at the beginning of this game, when they started getting those turnovers, that's when they started building this lead. And I mean, they just really haven't looked back from there.
Yeah, really haven't. In the last 45 seconds, maybe fast break, not quite. Student section's a little rowdy, not gonna lie. See when the ref was yelling at them, but
Yeah, I mean, that's really how student section usually is, till the end of the game, no matter the score, you know.
exactly. You gotta support your team, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, no matter what, that's your team.
Yeah, let's go. The layup.
Yeah, and so I'm really glad that my Wi-Fi is pausing, here late and not in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, it's just been a really good game here for the satellites, and there it is. There.
Yeah, a very good game. Followed up from the last game, which was similar. They scored even more this time, up 66-32. Ooh, question: who do you think your game ball is gonna go to?
Oh my! I mean, you can't really give it to the whole team, but
I
like
know, I know. I'm trying to think
I
of.
would like.
I remember
Oh
I kept saying a name, but I can't remember which name it was.
yeah, I would really like to give it to the whole team, but I mean, who would you give yours to?
I mean, I guess we have to pick a senior. It's not our senior night, but it is a senior night. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm sorry. This is
Yeah,
so hard.
yeah, it's just a hard one because I think like the whole team did well, so it's kind
I
of
can't
hard
lie.
to.
I'm gonna give mine to Sadie Marks.
Sadie Marks.
Yes.
I was really thinking Sadie Marks too, but I mean, I was kind of between Mark's sisters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would definitely have to go with uh Sadie Marks as well.
Right. Well, any closing statements you have?
I mean, pretty much just that South Central. They just had a sensational performance. They just never let up in this game, and yeah, they come out with a huge win here in Knox.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And remember to stay in orbit.